I planned a backyard dinner for my 32nd birthday. Invited the whole family. They never showed. 3 days later, my aunt posted spontaneous fam night. We needed this, tagged a house 2 blocks away. I didn't comment. Just pulled my name from the business loan, canceled the storage unit I paid for, and flagged the family tax account. That evening, my dad called. "What's going on?" I said, "Exactly what you taught me." On the night of my 32nd birthday, I sat alone in a backyard made for 20. Everything was set. I'd spent the whole week getting it ready, mowed the lawn, borrowed tables and chairs from a friend, strung up lights I bought from Lowe's, ordered enough food to feed 3 families, and baked the cake myself because I figured it would mean more that way. I even set up a little photo corner with Polaroid film and a board to hang up the pictures. I wanted memories. I thought that night would be one of them. The texts had come in all week. "Can't wait. What time again? Kids are excited." So I didn't second guess a thing. At 6 p.m., I put the ribs on the grill and cracked open the first beer. By 7 o'clock, everything was ready. By 7:30, I figured they were just late. By 8 o'clock, I started to realize what was happening. At 8:45, I lit the candles on my own damn cake and blew them out without making a wish. I just didn't see the point. Not one of them came, not my mom, not my dad, not my brothers, not my cousins, not even my ex-wife, who had told me she'd bring the kids because they should be with you on your birthday. I sat there, beer in hand, looking around at the untouched food and chairs no one would sit in. My phone stayed quiet, no calls, no texts, no excuses, just silence. 3 days later, Aunt Carol posted a photo in the family group chat. Everyone was there, my entire family, smiling around a dinner table, plates full, glasses raised. My brother was wearing the flannel I gave him last Christmas. My mom was holding a pie I knew she hadn't baked because I bought it. And in the background was a house I recognized. It was 2 blocks from mine. The caption read, "A spontaneous family dinner, we needed it," red heart emoji. No mention of me, no explanation, not even a lie. That's what hit hardest. It wasn't an accident, it wasn't forgetfulness, it was intentional. They just didn't want me there. I didn't reply. I didn't ask why or call anyone to get answers. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of seeing me confused or hurt. I was done trying to earn a place in a family that had clearly voted me out. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled my name off the business loan I was co-signing for my brother. Without me, it wouldn't go through. He knew that. I canceled the monthly payment I'd been making for Aunt Carol's storage unit. I'd paid it for 6 months, and she never once said, "Thank you." I found the old email about the overdue property tax on my parents' cabin, the one I paid to keep it from going into default, and forwarded it straight to my dad's inbox. No message, just the subject line, "Yours." That night, my phone rang. My father's name lit up. I let it ring once, then twice, then answered. "What's going on?" He said. "Exactly what you taught me," I said, and I hung up. There wasn't any anger yet, that would come later. This was something colder, sharper, the kind of feeling that carves out space inside you. They wanted me gone, they wanted to pretend I didn't exist. Fine. I'd disappear, but not before showing them how much they'd come to rely on the person they just erased. I didn't need to make a scene. I just needed to remove the supports quietly, systematically, like a house that suddenly forgets what's holding it up. This was just the beginning. 2 days after I pulled my name from the loan, my brother called. No hello, no how are you, just, why did the bank say the application's incomplete? I was sitting in the garage, throwing out boxes, old ones filled with stuff I'd been storing for half the family, my cousin's wedding decor, my uncle's tool set, a pair of lamps my mom once said she'd pick up someday. I tossed one of them straight into the dumpster before answering. I told him, "Loan's not happening. You'll have to figure it out." He got quiet, then asked if I was seriously doing this over a missed birthday. That's when I knew he had no idea. They didn't even tell him. I asked if he knew they were all eating dinner 2 blocks from me that night. He didn't answer. I waited. Then he said something about Aunt Carol saying it was a spontaneous get-together. Right, a spontaneous gathering with decorations, a 3-layer cake, and coordinated outfits. I could hear voices in the background, my guess, on speaker, with everyone around him feeding him lines. "You're all a lot of things," I said, "but you're not subtle." Then I hung up. The next morning, Aunt Carol texted, "Why are you being dramatic?" I didn't reply. Instead, I drove to the storage facility and changed the access code. Then I walked past her unit, 3rd on the right, top floor, and slapped a non-payment sticker over the lock. Watched people look as they passed, wondering what the story was. She didn't notice until 4 days later. I got an alert when someone tried the wrong code 5 times in a row. That afternoon, my mom called twice, then 3 more times. I ignored the first 4. On the 5th, I answered. "This is going too far," she said. I was standing in my backyard again, dragging the leftover birthday chairs to the curb one by one, scratched up and stained by the rain that came later that night. I asked her what this even meant. She said I was upsetting everyone and creating family drama. I asked if she remembered where she was on the night of March 18th. Silence. So I told her, "That night wasn't about you." She finally said, I said, "That's exactly why I'm done," and hung up again. Over the next few days, the guilt network kicked in. Cousins, second cousins, even people I hadn't heard from in months. They sent messages like they were performing concern. Not one of them asked what actually happened, they just wanted me to stop making waves. One of them even wrote, "Be the bigger person." So I got to work. I called the DMV and reported the truck parked outside my place for 6 months. My uncle had been using my address to dodge registration fees. I reported it anonymously and watched from my living room when a tow truck showed up. A week later, he texted me, "Did you tell them?" I blocked his number. I emailed my kid's school and removed myself as emergency contact. No explanation. I love them, but even their mom ghosted me that night. I wasn't going to pretend she hadn't made a choice. I went through my phone and deleted threads, removed birthdays from my calendar, took down photos, boxed up old gifts. I didn't make a scene. I didn't post online. I just started erasing myself from their lives, one piece at a time. They thought I was making a point. What they didn't realize was that I wasn't trying to send a message, I was just done pretending. And I wasn't close to finished. 2 weeks passed, and I stayed silent, not a single message from me, not a comment, not a like, not even a read receipt. But I was watching everything. My brother's loan collapsed. I saw it on his LinkedIn before he even realized I'd removed my name. He wrote something about unexpected changes and delayed timelines. I knew what that meant. He hadn't told his business partner the truth, probably couldn't bring himself to say his own brother pulled the plug because he couldn't be bothered to walk 2 blocks on his birthday. Then the group chat stopped moving. It had gone from 20 messages a day, memes, jokes, lunch photos, to dead air. No one knew how to act. It was like I'd become a ghost that still had a key to every room in their house. That's when Uncle Steve showed up. I was in the garage, sorting through more crap that wasn't mine, bins full of Halloween costumes, baby clothes from kids that now had learner's permits. I saw his truck in the driveway and just shook my head. He knocked. I opened the door halfway. Update 2. I planned a backyard dinner for my 32nd birthday. Invited the whole family. They never showed. 3 days later, my aunt posted spontaneous fam night. We needed this tagged a house 2 blocks away. I didn't comment. Just pulled my name from the business loan, canceled the storage unit I paid for, and flagged the family tax account. That evening, my dad called. What's going on? I said, exactly what you taught me. He looked like he hadn't planned anything he was about to say, just said he wanted to talk, said he didn't want this whole thing to ruin the family. I leaned on the doorframe and let him talk. He said the dinner wasn't what I thought it was, that Aunt Carol threw it together and they just happened to show up. I asked if he honestly believed I'd buy that. He said they didn't realize it was my birthday. I didn't respond, just stared at him until he got uncomfortable. Then he pulled out the excuse that always gets dragged around when people run out of things to say, maybe you're taking it too personally. That was the moment the door closed in his face, not a slam, just a decision, slow and final. That night, I posted a photo on my private Instagram, one I took the night of my birthday before the food got cold. The lights were glowing, the table was set, and every chair was empty. The caption just said, March. No hashtags, no message. Within 20 minutes, I saw their names start to appear, my mom, my brother, Carol, my ex, my cousins. They were all watching, but none of them messaged me. Not one. So I started acting. I showed up at the next town council meeting. My dad's been on one of those neighborhood subcommittees for years, budgeting, zoning, local stuff. I never cared, but this time I signed up to speak. I didn't name names, I didn't have to. I talked about mishandled neighborhood funds, about favoritism in building contracts, and about committee members approving projects connected to family businesses. Just suggestions, but people listened. I left before the meeting ended. Next day, my dad called twice. I didn't pick up. Then the family tried a different tactic. One by one, they started posting old photos, family reunions, Christmas mornings, group beach shots, tagging me, writing things like miss these days or family is forever. I got a text from my cousin Jenna saying she didn't want to pick sides. I didn't answer any of them. Then my mom sent the one line that told me everything I needed to know. We miss you. I replied, no, you miss what I did for you. That was the last text I sent that week. They didn't realize it yet, but the foundation was cracking. The favors were gone, the secrets were bleeding. They'd assumed I was a fixture, something dependable and quiet. But now that I was out of the picture, they were starting to look at each other, trying to figure out who'd let me walk away. And the best part was, I didn't need to push, they were going to do the rest of themselves. By the 3rd week, I could tell they were starting to feel it. The panic wasn't loud, but it was obvious. Passive posts from my mother about family drift, a photo from my brother with some philosophical quote about forgiveness. Even Carol tried to call me, which she hadn't done since the day I helped move her out of her 3rd apartment. But I kept moving, quiet, clean, methodical. I started by contacting the accountant who handled our joint family taxes, told him I wouldn't be participating this year, told him to send everything directly to my dad, and that I wasn't covering any more shared costs. When he asked if something was wrong, I just said, you'll understand soon. That same night, I saw my dad had liked a Facebook comment trashing the town council. He never does that. It was getting to him, probably already getting questions about why I said what I said in that meeting. I knew it wasn't going to stop at just whispers. I was at peace, for the most part, but one night, something unexpected happened. I got a call from my ex-wife. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity won. She sounded cautious, said the kids had been asking why I hadn't been around much lately. She told them I was busy with work, but they weren't buying it. I asked her something that had been sitting with me since the night of the birthday. Why didn't you come that night? She paused, then said she figured it wasn't her place, that things felt tense, that maybe she didn't want to step on toes. But you were invited, I said. She didn't say anything. I could hear the TV in the background, one of the kids laughing. I asked if she told them about the dinner. She hadn't. That night, I sat with it. I wasn't angry, just tired of being the one who gave everyone a way out and got nothing in return. But they weren't done pushing. A few days later, I heard from Jenna again, my cousin who never had a strong opinion until someone gave her one. She messaged saying my mom was upset that I should at least call her back. I asked if she remembered what happened on my birthday. She said yes, but that it wasn't intentional. That word again, like forgetting your child's birthday, is something that just slips through the cracks, like 20 people accidentally coordinated an entire night without remembering the one person that all made promises to. So I sent Jenna a copy of the text I sent weeks before, the invite, the reminder, the can't wait reply she'd given. And then I said, you all made a choice. This is me making mine. That was the first time she didn't reply. 2 days later, I found out my mom had called the school, asked them to list me again as the emergency contact for the kids, told them she had verbal permission. I had to go in person to set it straight, signed a new form, talked to the administrator, explained everything, not in detail, just enough to make sure they understood I wasn't part of that circle anymore. When I walked out, I saw her car in the parking lot. She didn't get out. I didn't wave. I drove off first. I knew what was coming next, the family meeting, the intervention, the guilt trip. They were going to try and fix it not because they understood, but because they were feeling the absence of everything I used to do. And I wasn't finished showing them what that absence really looked like. The group text hit Sunday morning, like they were all reading from the same script. Mom wrote, let's talk. This has gone on long enough. Dinner at our place, 6 p.m. No apology, no explanation, just an invitation. It wasn't for me, it was for their own peace of mind, damage control with dessert. I ignored it. Then, at 5:41, my brother pulled into my driveway. I didn't even need to check the window, I heard his car and waited for the knock. He showed up holding a six-pack, like we were college roommates patching up a dumb fight. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. He didn't waste time, said Mom had been crying, Dad wasn't speaking, and Carol was trying to fix things behind the scenes, like this was some PR issue. He said everyone was waiting for me, that there was a seat for me marked with a little paper card that said Mason. I asked him if he knew how pathetic that was. He didn't have an answer, just stared at the floor like a kid caught cheating. Then he said something that caught me off guard. Jenna told Grandma. That made me pause. I asked, told her what? He looked uncomfortable. She told Grandma about the dinner, about the invite, the photo, everything. That changed things. Grandma didn't know. All this time, I figured she was just staying quiet, not wanting to pick sides, but she'd been left in the dark, like I had. I didn't say anything else to my brother, just closed the door. He stood there a second, then left. I didn't go to their dinner, but I did drive past, just like before. The lights were on, the curtains open on purpose. Everyone sitting at the table. My mom kept glancing at the door. They'd even pulled out one of the chairs from my backyard set and put it at the end of the table, like that made it better. Final update. I planned a backyard dinner for my 32nd birthday. Invited the whole family. They never showed. 3 days later, my aunt posted spontaneous fam night. We needed this tagged a house 2 blocks away. I didn't comment. Just pulled my name from the business loan, canceled the storage unit I paid for, and flagged the family tax account. That evening, my dad called. What's going on? I said, exactly what you taught me. I kept driving, but I didn't go home. I went to Grandma's. She was out on the porch, rocking in that same creaky chair she's had since I was 5. She saw me coming and didn't say anything at first, just stood up and opened the door. We sat inside and didn't talk for a long time. She made tea, gave me the sugar I liked without asking. Eventually, she said, I had no idea, Mason. I believed her. She was the only one I did believe. She told me she called Mom and asked flat out what happened. Mom broke down, cried, said it was supposed to be a quick thing, that no one meant to leave me out, that it wasn't intentional. Grandma asked the same thing I've been asking for weeks, then why didn't a single one of them say something? Grandma had no answers, but she had a surprise for me. She pulled out a small photo album I hadn't seen before. Inside were old pictures, birthdays from when I was a kid, one from every year, even the ones I forgot. She'd kept them tucked away quietly, even had one from when I was 19 and nobody showed up except her. She said, I keep the ones that matter. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect anything from anyone anymore. Before I left, she handed me an envelope. You can decide what to do with it. I opened it when I got home. Inside was a check from her account, a number bigger than anything I'd ever seen from her, and a note in her handwriting, start something that doesn't need them. That night, I made 2 decisions. First, I was going to open my own business, something I'd been thinking about for years but always put off because I was too busy holding up everyone else's dreams. Second, I was going to go to the next dinner, not to make peace, but to return the empty chair. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. They scheduled another family dinner 2 weeks later, a second try. Mom called it a fresh start, sent it in the group chat like a party flyer. This time, they said all the right things, just us. Let's talk. No pressure. The invite had my name at the top, like they were hosting me at my own family's table. I didn't RSVP, but at 6:52 p.m., I pulled into their driveway with the chair from my backyard in the bed of my truck, the same one they'd left empty that night, same scratch on the leg, same faded paint, still mine. I carried it across the lawn without saying a word, through the front door, past the cousins who went quiet when they saw me, into the dining room. Everyone was there. All eyes on me. No one spoke. I walked straight to the table, picked up the new chair they'd set aside for me, one that clearly wasn't mine, and replaced it with the old one, the real one. I sat down. Mom looked like she wanted to cry. Carol cleared her throat. Dad didn't even try to hide the guilt anymore, I could see it plain as day. No one dared open with small talk, so I did. I said, I'm not here to make peace. The silence after that was the cleanest thing I'd ever heard in that house. I looked around the table. I came to give this chair back to its owner. Since that night, none of you wanted to sit with me, so keep it. Then I stood up and walked back out. Behind me, I heard my name, a couple of voices. None of them got up. I placed the chair at the curb and walked to my truck. Jenna followed me out, jogging barefoot. She asked if I was serious, if I was really walking away from all of them. I said, you all walked first. Then she asked if this was how it ends. I looked at her and said,